the one guy, I don't remember his name, but he said he was 70 and that he'd been betting football his whole life and he never thought about laying. We don't think twice about it on craps. We'll lay. I know you've heard of the plan because John did it to me, Patrick. And that is, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in, win $10 today, and get out. Go win one hand, do it. Not for a week, baby. Do it for a month.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, you don't have the discipline of what I'm trying to teach you. Well, that seemed stupid, harsh, whatever. I did do it.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Craps. It's old Johnny here with old Ken. John and Ken. Ken's in Texas. I'm in Seattle. Good morning. Good afternoon. How you doing, bud?
Doing well, Johnny. Doing well, bud. Can't complain. Of course, I could. Nobody'd listen. So
at this age, right? We can complain all we want. There's a bunch of cranky old men if we just bitch all the time, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So we haven't actually talked in a while. I guess because I suck at life and I haven't been good at calling people back or whatever else. So I just kind of want to catch up, right? What's been going on? You had your channel closed for a minute, right? And then you started it back up.
You know what's going on with you. I told you, I don't know, maybe you had 500-600 subscribers, something like that. And I told you one day you're going to be too busy for us little pukes.
No.
See? now you've got so much going on. I said you were going to be big.
That's true.
You ain't even got to your biggest yet.
No, but a lot of that's work and family though. I got so much crap going on with my work. My day job is kind of blown up, right? So my responsibilities got way more. And it's kind of weird. Our company grew, the school I work at grew. I stopped being a teacher. And now what I do is I'm the director of curriculum down there. So I just basically write the courses and do all the testing. But whenever somebody calls in sick, I fill in. And if there's a night course that's not filled, I teach the night class. So a lot of times I'm coming morning show, all day work, dinner, and then 2 hours, 3 hours of teaching at night. And it's been crazy town. It's been really, really nuts with that. Tons of travel with family coming up. And I've like months go by. And I think COVID's fucked us all up. Like COVID, when it happened, like literally 4 or 5 months went by. And I'm like, I haven't talked to my mom in 4 months. You know what I mean? And and I know it's then we started getting into a thing where like, okay, every Sunday we're going to carve out time and make family time and make phone calls. And you start getting this rhythm where it's okay. But shit, dude, for you and me and for Dylan and for other folks, like months go by. I'm like, damn it, I haven't talked to Kent.
I tried. I can't because you're so busy, and I get it. I understand. Like Dylan, here lately, I've been talking to him once a day. Just because I dig him. We think alike. We like after your show, we like to go, what the hell was John freaking thinking, man? So, and oh, by the way, I know you haven't been able to watch, some of my stuff, but I probably mention you at least once every time I have a show.
No shit.
At least once.
I've caught a bunch of them, and I think you and I think so much alike in a lot of ways. That's cool. And I did tune in, by the way, after the Eagles beat the Niners, just to hear you give you the props on that one. That Eagles team.
If you'd have been there, I'd have done more, but you weren't, so I didn't elaborate. But yeah,
how's it work?
Yeah, they cleaned them, man, and I don't really have a dog in the hunt on this one because I really could care less about either one of them.
Sure.
Because all mine have been gone. But since Jalen Hurt is from Bama, and I am a Bama fan, so I'm pulling for the Eagles just because of Hurt. That's it.
A lot of guys are like a lot of Bama guys. Ed and Waylon are all in. What happened to him though? He was at Bama for 3 years. He transferred out to Oklahoma State, right? Or Oklahoma.
Real quick. I'm not really sure what the deal was, but then when he come back, him and Tua. It was him, and then Tua mess up. They put Hurts, he do good, or vice versa. But Jalen Hurts is the real deal, man.
Oh, man,
Tua ain't doing too bad either.
No, if he
But
ever
he
comes
gets
back,
hurt a lot.
dude, if he comes back, those concussions they're a bear. The thing is sometimes these
Yeah.
quarterbacks, they say, you know, iron sharpens iron, right? You put two great quarterbacks together and they push each other, but sometimes it's opposite of that. And neither guy takes the ball. And with those two, maybe that was part of what was going on. But no, Jalen Hurts he's the real deal. Philly is sneaky good.
Yeah.
Like they're so good. The record's good, but you just don't see them coming. And all of a sudden, you're down 31. You know, I mean, I know their quarterback got hurt and all that stuff, but that defense is a bitch.
I think they'll beat them. I can't stand Mahomes any damn way. So
really? How come?
I don't know. It's just like there's just some personalities, even though I don't know the dude, right? But just what you see on TV and whatnot. And I don't know. There's something about him as a person I don't like. Now, he's a beast.
Really? That's interesting.
You know, as a quarterback. But I don't really care for him.
No, my wife actually says that too. My wife, so we're, you know, obviously I'm a huge Andy Reid fan. I love me some Andy Reid. My wife always says that Mahomes looks like a precocious kid. Like he kind of prances, you know, and that's her. She's like, there's something about the way he walks or carries himself that she's just like, God, he just bugs me, and I can't say why. You know,
now I don't know anything about, you know, his mom, dad, and his life, how he grew up or whatnot. But it seems like he carries himself like he's got a silver spoon up his ass. And I can't prove that any of that's true. And I'm not, you know, suggesting it, but it just is there's something about him I don't like. So I hope he gets his ass tore up. I hope the Eagles stomp the shit out of him.
Oh, well,
to be honest with you.
Yeah. So this is funny. So in Philly, when I grew up, the 610 was our sports station, and everybody in Philly lives and dies by what's on the radio. Sports radio in Philadelphia is like the best thing. The best entertainment on the planet is sports radio in Philadelphia on a Monday morning. It's awesome. But they used to do this thing. The one set of guys had this kind of, not a contest, but like a talk. And they would say, who has the it factor? And they'd always put like two guys up, like, you know, like Jordan and LeBron. Tiger and Phil. Tiger and Phil's a better example, right? Tiger, they're both awesome. Tiger and Jack Nicklaus even, right? One of them's got the it factor, one of them doesn't. They both win. They're both awesome. But they got that kind of like intangible. And I think Mahomes is amazing, but he don't have the it thing. Like if you're going to put him,
he does crap I've never even seen a quarterback do.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's starting to get beat though. And here's why. People are starting to get the fact that he's looking over here and he passes it over there, and they're starting to understand some of that crap that he can do. So when you study and study and study, I mean, he is starting to get beat, and he is starting to they're getting to him, you know, his ankle. I mean, I think he'll be fine for the Super Bowl, but they're starting to get to him where they couldn't before, because now they're starting to get him.
That backdoor spy is a way, like that linebacker on that like kind of like that 3/4 left hand side of his is kind of getting in the way of that. I was talking to Ian and Chris the other night about this on the football show, and like one of the keys I think for him is going to be, well, you know, Andy Reid's a stud coach, right? And he's the master of the short game, right? He's the short game guy. I think that an aggressive defense gets beat by the screen pass, gets beat by that weird like shovel pass that he does, that short game stuff. That's what I worry about on the Philly side, you know. And with his ankle being bad, I don't see him dropping back and running around. I see a lot of quick shit. That could be the difference for them.
Well,
that's if they get through it, that'll be the way.
2 weeks, that's a long time to heal. You know, so I hope they break his leg.
Tell me how you really feel
about it, man.
Oh my God, care. That's awesome. Are you betting on the game? Are you betting on the game? You putting money down on any props?
No. If anybody ever watched any of my sports stuff, I have told people time and time again, never, ever, ever bet on a big game. Never. So, no. I mean, I have been betting some here, you know, a while back. But once you get into the playoffs and you get into the big games, forget it. All the reasoning goes out the window. You know, most people have a favorite. right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, Eagles, right? Oh, so we got to, no. To me, you're better just leaving it alone. The only exception that I have is the World Series. And if you remember, I did some shorts and I told everybody, I want you to do a mini Martingale, pick one. I don't care. Pick Houston, pick the other one. It's not going to be a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. The end. So
right.
that's the only reason I'll bet on that particular, and even the, the series is the National and American League, whatever. But these football playoffs, forget it. You're just better off not doing it. So no, to answer your question.
I remember one of your very, very first videos. This is why I reached out to you actually. Was sports betting. And I'm like, I don't know a lot about sports betting. I'm the first one to admit it because we can't. Washington, there is no sports betting unless they have it now. We just opened it up this past year, but you have to drive to the casino to do it. Like we have an app. I can use the MGM or the Caesars app, whatever one we can use, but you can only use it on the reservation. So I got to drive. It's stupid. I got to drive 30 minutes to make a bet, which is, I don't do it. So I don't know all the terms. I don't know how to hedge. I don't understand all the odds and everything else because we just never encountered it. Your first videos on this, don't bet the big games. You're like, bet Alabama versus Appalachian State. Like that's the game you bet. Like, take the money line on that game. You're going to win 18 cents, but so what? You're going to win it. That was like oh, duh, no shit. Like you don't have to worry about the spread so much. And that advice
there was a lot
way back was good.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of people that, I had the one guy, I don't remember his name, but he said he was 70 and that he'd been betting football his whole life and he never thought about laying. We don't think twice about it on craps. We'll lay.
Right.
I mean, look at Dylan's Moonbug, big lay, whatever. I'm laying on my new strategy. I mean, we don't think twice about it. But in football, you go, oh, no, man, you're going to bet, $1,000 to win 50. Oh, no, blah, blah. Sometimes, yeah. And what people don't realize is these big millionaire gamblers, legitimate, gamblers that you've never heard of, and there's a reason why you ain't never heard of them. That's how they bet. I mean, they got the money. They'll bet $1 million to win 50. It's almost a lot. And so anyway, the 70-year-old guy was like, he was like, man, that's how I'm betting now. Huh?
Yeah, there was a guy just did that, right? I was talking to JB about this in the last podcast. The guy just did it in the Chargers game. They're up, whoever it was up 28-0 at the half. And the guy dropped $1.4 million to win $11,000. He lost it. He lost it because the comeback of the century, right? But I can see that.
I mean, it happens, but if you just do that consistently, the Appalachian States are going to happen every 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. But look at all you're going to make in that 15 years. So it's like everything we do here. I'm doing a new strategy now. I'm calling it the Ladder Company 5. Okay. Mm-hmm. And mine is the fives. If you just keep banging fives, yeah, man, there's your hole. But today, I watched you this morning, which I got off to that. I very rarely get to watch you from jump. You were throwing them fives, but the way mine is that's fine. We're going to ladder everything, but all I need is about 3 hits. I can come back down. So you were 5, about 3 different ones, 5, 3 different ones, 5. So I'd have definitely went up, down, up, down, up, down. Then you went into a damn streak of about 20-something before a 5. I would have cleaned up on your rolls today. But nonetheless, things happen. So, but you can't be afraid of it. You got to go with probabilities. Is the probability that Alabama's going to beat Appalachian State? Hell yeah. Bet the farm on it, on a lay. Do it. You're going to be fine.
So what about, so you said and as a great comment, like once in 15 years, they're going to do it, right? We saw it. Actually, it's kind of a funny story. One of my students, 4 years ago, played on that team. Had a guy come through Code Fells. He played on the Appalachian State team that beat Michigan. Was really cool because we do these kind of pretend job interviews to get them ready for life. And hey, tell me about yourself. And he comes out. The guy was, enormous, 6'5", built like a brick shit house. And that was his opening line. I'm like, dude, you're hired. Like, stop talking. I don't care if you can code or not. Fucking, you're hired. You played on that team. Like, you could tell that story for the rest of your life. Like, can you imagine?
Sure.
Golly, how cool is that?
They did something close this year too.
Well, so here's the thing, right? That game is going to happen once every 15 years, right? Your Martingale is going to lose. Once you're going to go 12-step Marty, 9-step Marty, you're going to get whacked on that thing. And when you get whacked, it's an ass kicking, right? If you lose the Appalachian State game for $1 million, it's an ass kicking, and it takes 15 more years to make that money back. Right? Get it, because I know you've done this, right? You've gambled as a pro, and I know that you martied as part of that, right? First of all, how soul crushing is it to get your ass kicked at the top level of a Marty? But what's the fight back look like? Because I think that's the thing. You know, friends don't let friends Martingale, and Martingale's bullshit, and you should never listen to a guy that says Marty. They do battle back, right? And talk about the battle back.
All right, so here, I got to throw some truth in there too.
Sure.
On the way that I play blackjack, okay, 15-minute sessions, and if I get over the fourth, and I got to bet the fifth or whatever, as soon as I win, I'm up on that session. I don't care if I haven't won anything yet. There's a couple things that I do different than people just sitting down there playing a 9-step and just, you know, hand after hand after hand after hand. Well, yeah, now math is more likely to get you. And not that it can't happen from the first time. So we have to say this. And there's a couple guys that were watching me that called horse shit on me. And I go, well, screw you. It is what it is. I've never been beat 9 hands in blackjack in a row ever. Now, I've been to 8. I've been to 9, maybe 6 times in my life, but I've never been beat. I've never had to go to 10, couldn't go to 10. Okay. Now, where I have been beat in the Martingale, I've been beat in the field. I told people on my series, never, ever, ever do a Martingale pretty much on any damn thing but blackjack. And I have my reasons for it. Okay. I have my reasons why 9-step versus 8 versus 7 versus 6. 9 seems to be a really sweet spot.
Let me ask you, hold on, let me stop you right. I got to ask you right there, because this is an interesting point. Okay. And I've heard you say this before, and it makes complete sense to me, right? On blackjack, the Marty makes kind of sense because you're going to get the 3-2 payout every once in a while. You're going to hit that. You're also going to hit bonus. You're also going to hit a split and win, you know, whatever. That can help you out too. On the field,
no, you don't split, and you don't split, you don't double down, you don't play basic strategy because see, here's the whole misconception on this. This is what I hear all the time. Well, damn, Ken, you're betting $800 to win 25. Or you're win, you know, 12,000 to win 100. That is stupid. And I have to come in and say, yeah, if I just come to the table, okay, and I went $12,000 to win 25. Well, yeah, that's the stupidest all time. I should be fucking taken out and shot. Okay, but I'm not betting $12,000 for 5 or 10 or 20. That ain't my bet. My bet is $12,000 that you're not going to take me 9 in a row. That's my bet. So when I tell people don't split, don't double, why? Because all you need is the win. Just get the win so you can go back. Forget making extra money and double and then split, because they'll get you there too. Just get the freaking win.
Is that purely a statement on if you're going to Martingale the blackjack versus playing me walking up and just doing my basic strategy and playing it out? Like, am I a dumbass,
if you're going to go basic,
right?
No. When I play just regular, even if I'm doing regression up and pull, I've taught that. You're flat, but however else you want to play blackjack, then absolutely double, split, all those. When you're weak, back off of them. When they're weak, attack the shit out of them. And so that's got nothing to do with a Martingale. Martingale, to me, the way I do it is way completely different than anywhere else I play. As long as I'm not playing a Marty, all right, I'm playing any other way. I'm splitting, I'm doubling down, I'm doing everything that you would do. You know, there's some things I'll do that a normal person that goes basic strategy wouldn't do, but that's okay. Little tweaks here and there. I don't care. But you get my drift. I'm going to do it every other time. I'm just not going to do it.
So given that you're Martying and you're not doing the quote basic strategy stuff, in the Marty, are you playing other basic strategy plays like hits, all that kind of stuff, or are you playing like no bust? Do you change like your actual
it's not quite no bust, but close. Okay, so I'm not going to do no bust is, hey, listen, if I'm over an 11, if I'm 12, or I ain't hitting no matter what, I don't care.
Right.
That's a no bust. Mm-hmm. All right, not me. If it's a 12 through 16, and they've got a 10, 9, 8 showing, they're strong, I'm weak, I'm hitting in the Marty. Okay. But if they're weak, I shut down, or I will, in the Marty, I just want to win. Now, if I'm playing regular strategy, I'll attack when they're weak. Like I will take a soft 17 versus their 6 and double a soft 17, because if your analogy is they got a 16 under there, you think they're going to bust. Well, if that's the case, let's attack it. Mm. And so but on the Marty, it's just, I'm going to hit versus they're strong because I figure I'm going to lose anyway. I'm going to take the hit. Some people just would do a no bust. Really, it doesn't matter if you're doing the Marty the way I want you to do it. Get the win and go back to jump. That's the whole thing. Right. 15 minutes or whatever, and get the hell up for, you still got to put everything else I do into it as one strategy versus, he's just doing a 9-step Marty. He's going to just sit there forever. No.
Right.
No. You're taking it out of context. And so that's where people mess up.
So give me the difference then between, because this is where I'm kind of a little bit lost. If the Marty on the blackjack table works because you get blackjacks, they pay 3-2. That's why you say that makes sense, right? In the field, it's not quite 50-50, but it's close to 50-50, 45, whatever percent it is. And you have the double ace deuce or the double aces and the triple 12s. How is that not the same or close to the same as blackjack, where you would say don't ever Marty the field? Because they're both about a 50-50 play. What's the difference?
Because the field is not as good. I don't know exactly 40 some odd percent versus the blackjack is as close to 50-50 as you're going to get it. Field is not. How many times we're talking common versus uncommon.
Right.
Okay. Right. It is common in blackjack to win 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4. Common. That's why when I did my whole series, I went to 5 twice and won. Never did have to get up. I did on the Baccarat, if you remember. Got up to 8 first time. Mm-hmm. Well, Baccarat's too streaky. Blackjack can be streaky, but it's not as just streaky from the get-go. Blackjack can be, but it's generally not. Okay, let's look at the field. I mean, common 7, 7, 5, 7, 8, 8, 6. There goes part of your 9 just out the window quick. So, going back to, I have in my younger days I have been beat 9 in the field. I've tried it. That's why I'm telling you, freaking don't do it. I have been beat 9 on, I think I told you this when you did that first, that 24-hour, your first marathon. And I said, well, my brother, he comes in and says, well, do it on that 2-to-1. And I was doing a column, I think the middle column. And I was thinking, yeah, man, I could start with 50 cents, go to $1, $2. Sure, I'm going to get that column sooner or later. It ain't going to be even money. It's going to be double. Yeah. Pow. 10, I think. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I've messed with that other stuff too when I was younger. And what I have learned is 9-step, the way I play blackjack, Ken has never been beat 9. I could the very next time I do it, but I ain't, and I'm an old fucker.
So when you played for a living, is that what you did? Was this what you're showing
That's
us?
How I started.
Serious. That's how you started. Did you?
That's how I started.
All right, because you've got some of these other
$1,
right?
$2.
No shit. $1 blackjack.
$2, $4. $2, $4. Hit a blackjack. And I had to play. I mean, that's why I'm teaching the way I'm teaching now. I'm saying, don't do what I did. Now, there's some things that I did, envelope system, and all, it was still the same. Sure. Go to the bank every day. All that was the same. But I want somebody to have a $50,000 bankroll minimum. I want somebody to have a $10,000 separate account for 4 months worth of bills. I didn't. I jumped off the plane with $1,500. The end. That's it.
Right.
But that's how confident I was with it. And within 4 days, I'd had won enough dollars to get the little apartment down in the hood where the gunshots are going on. Right. I don't want people to do that. Way too stressful. So, yes, the way I do it now, you have to find a high limit table. There's only a few places that you can bet that high on blackjack. But I also showed in my series, screw that. If you don't ever want to do a Martingale, you don't believe in it, you think I'm full of shit, fine. I still proved it with every other game and every other decent strategy. I won my 300. It was, 8%. I wasn't even going for 10.
Right.
And there's another key in professional gambling that people got to get a grip on. It ain't this 10, 15, 20%. It might be 5.
Sure.
Get your money, get the hell out of there. There's the deal. So
I'm doing this.
Anyway, that covers the Martingale.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm doing my bankroll strategy every day, right? I've been doing that. I've got like 80 days in or something like that. I'm doing like 80, whatever it was. And we got a pretty good win rate. I'm up in the 80% win rate for the most part across all the strategies, and that same mentality. And here's the deal: it's like I'm going $5,000 looking to win 500. I'm looking for a straight up 10% win. And it could be 10K to win 500, like you're saying, a 5% win, just get me more bullets in the gun. The question I got on that, and I question myself every day when I do this thing, is it how big should my bullets be? And how fast should I get the hell out of there? Like, if I'm at 5K, am I betting $100 chips to get 5 wins or 5 units and get the frick out of there? Or take 5,000 and go 25s and try and be there for extra time? Like, it's dollar bets suck because you're going to be there for all day.
No,
trying to win.
I did. I even did the Martingale. I was doing them at $50, $50, 100, 200, because I want to win 6 times and get the hell out of there. All right, but then there's people who go, well, blah blah blah. And I said, well, if you don't got 50 grand, you ain't doing it anyway. So, but if you're going for shits and giggles, all right. Now I did it with 10, but I had to win 30 fucking times. I did that particular live, and I did everything live. I went 20-0, John, live on multiple ways to do it. Have you been 20-0 yet?
No. I've got 4 or 5 that are 6-0, 5-0, but not 20 in a row straight up. No.
And on multiple different, like you're doing. But what you're doing versus what I did is still a little bit different. You say, hey, go make a daily paycheck, but you're not necessarily telling people go for a living. Daily paycheck and doing it for a living is 2 different things. So I really enjoy what you do, 5 days, and you take them 5 days. And I don't get a chance to watch you live much. I have to be off, but I'll go back. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes I agree with what you're doing. Sometimes I don't, just like people, me or whatever. But I'm enjoying that part of what you're trying to accomplish. Now, add going for a living. Now you got to have 50 grand. I don't give a shit if you like that thought or not. I'm telling you, you've got to clear up as much mental torment as possible. Because me and you talked about this, not together, but you had mentioned it on one of your shows. Mental. This thing is mental. If you've got the nuts and bolts of what you want to do, and I don't give a shit if you want to go blackjack and basic strategy or craps, do the moonbow, do whatever the hell, whatever you like that you think is safe enough. All right. It's still, what are you going to do once you win your $300? You were there 20 minutes. Now what? People don't think about that, man. They don't think about that 23 and a half hours in a casino town.
Yeah.
And you're a gambler itching for action.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
See, I think
the mental part.
Don't give me the come on, man. Come Uncle Joe. No.
The mental, and then when you try to do it, and you're going, well, I'm going to circumvent that $50,000 bankroll. I had a guy go, I'm doing it with 20. Well, God love you. Okay, I wouldn't do it. The only way that I would ever do that again is if I wasn't married. Okay, I was single again, and I had minimum of 50 grand. Minimum. I wouldn't even think about it.
See, in my world, I'm thinking, and again, 100%, nobody should try this for a living. I think it's like you said it the best when we first said it. Besides the fact that it's hard, it is possible, but it's super hard to do. You said it, that it sucked the joy out of it. Like it just became a job and you started to hate it, right? Here's my scenario. And I want you to paint the picture with me here, right? I'm looking at going to Vegas in a couple of years, right? And I'm going to make some numbers up. But let's say that I busted my ass my whole life and I got $2 million in the bank. And I'm buying a house for cash. I got no mortgage, right? So I don't, and I got a couple of million in the bank that I can live on, do my thing with. I got $100K in the 401g account, $100K to gamble with. So double your 50. I want to go every day, win the $500, and at the end of the year, still have $100K in that account. Like basically, work through it. Right? Even if I tie all year long, that's what the paycheck is about to me. It's not about, I don't need it to live on, but to me, every day we win. That's a show I'm going to. That's family comes to town. We're doing the car race or whatever we're doing. That's what that is to me, right? Mindset, it's here. It's a whole different thing, right? Don't need it. Want to do it. And want to. But still,
in your scenario, you got your house paid for. You got this paid for, that paid for. You got 100,000 in your 401g account. There's no pressure on you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's here. It's mental. I could leave and not care because I don't need to make my rent with the money that I'm making. Right?
Or you stay a little bit extra longer than you're supposed to.
Probably, yeah.
There's no pressure on you. If you do it to where you gotta pretend you're a 1099 independent contractor, man, there's no $0. You don't have any place paid for, nothing. It's you. Every day, you got to put yourself in that scenario. Well, most people can't, and I don't blame them. I have told people, even in my series, why in the hell would you even want to think about gambling for a living? Because it's a sucky ass life. That's a fact.
Yeah, you've said that many times. That's why I'm with you, right? I don't want to push anybody towards that, and that's why, like, for me personally, honestly, like the Daily Paycheck series is fun. It's educational and all the things I like about it. It is setting me up for what I'm going to do. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm going to have that kind of 401g account. I'm not going to need the money to live on. I am going to deal as my kind of side gig, but that's a different version of it than what you were talking about, which is I have to, if I don't make it today, or if the 9-step Marty gets me, I'm not eating for 3 days. Like that's the thing. And that's like you said, that's the truth. And that's one thing I love about you the most, dude, is that like, you're like, that's the reality of it. You get burned on this shit. You can't eat. Not putting gas in the car. Well, right? It's a whole, it changes your life. And I think
that's why you got such a bankroll, because even me going big with that $50 starting 51, 2, 4, 8, 16, I could still get burnt with that once and still have enough to do it again with that 50. Remember when I said 50 minimum? You got to hone in on that damn word minimum. That ain't max. Minimum. So if I'm going to max out and I found the Bellagio and they'll take a $50,000 bet and I'm going to go 1, 2, 4, 8, whatever, so I can win 3 times and get out, so be it. Now you got to have a monster bankroll, but you got to be able to get hit and still have some more. If that's the way you're going to play it, you got to have more to do it again. I had enough to go twice. Well, actually 3 times. I had $1,500. 1, 2, 4, 8. It's $512 doing it that way. I had enough to go 3. I never got hit once, but I had it, even that little bitty amount. Same thing with a bigger bankroll. If you get busted, you got to have a contingency plan. You got to. And so that's why the bankroll. And now, if you want to play the other ways that, I think I probably played 10, 12, 15 other ways, still won my $300 every single time. You can do that. And now you're bringing $5,000 to the table and you got a 50,000. Now, if you get popped, you still can live, man.
Yeah.
And you got those envelopes that you're paying your bills, and you got extra fund money, and all that shit is encompassed. And then you're still going to be alone. You're still going to be,
right,
choking your chicken at night, man. It's,
man, that's
just... or going to the bunny ranch and spending $1,500, whatever. So, but people don't understand the loneliness. They have no concept of alone unless they're alone now. If they're alone now, they ain't got no friends, whatever, it doesn't matter. Move to a casino. You got a shot if you have mentally, if you've been alone a long time. But if you're not used to being alone, it'll mess with you, man. I'm not kidding you. People have when they think about gambling for a living, they're thinking about money. What am I going to play? What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. How much time? They're not even thinking of this other stuff when you're not even there. And that part is what will make you want to put a gun to your head.
Man. And that's,
stay away from it.
That's why I agree. I hear you, man. That's why I say, for me, I'm joking about all this stuff when I do my shows, but it's about retirement. It's not about having to live. It's about how I'm going to spend my life.
Your idea you had not too long ago is have your own casino. That's the smart one.
Well, dude, someday, that's my dream, right? Someday, buying that Casino Royale. I want that casino so bad. Like I'll never be able to afford it, but man, that's right next to Harrah's. It's got the Super 8 motel attached to it. It's got a Denny's restaurant inside. Fuck, that's perfect, man. I mean, it's just my speed. Man. You know what I'm saying?
You take the rake. There you go. That's 100%. How you do it.
Yep, 100%. And that casino will have $1 blackjack, $3 craps. I will have edgeless craps. I will have fair 3-2 blackjack games. I'll do it all. It'll be the most gambler-friendly place in town because I'm still going to make it. People will still be degenerates and throw their money away, but yeah.
And then you still have your 1,000 slot machines. It's going to make that'll make your bills right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the smart play.
I actually want it to be table friendly. What I always dreamed of, like, it never happened, right? But my dream casino is like more table friendly because that's the kind of, I've always been a table player. And just picture like the Royale in Vegas and have slot machines only around the outside, and the inside is where it's all tables. The whole thing is a big giant pit with all the tables. No carnival games, no Spanish 21 with a twist and bullshit, right? Straight up games. And I want to be table player friendly, and bring their wives, let them play on the slots on the outside. But really, that's what I want. I don't want you to have to go hunt down a fucking stadium craps machine to play $1 game. I'd like to have $1 option. Even if it's a 6-foot tub, $1 option. I think that's what's missing. That town has just gotten to be so money grubbing. It just missing.
It used to. And I keep telling people when the mob owned it, it was like that. Mm-hmm. And it was booming.
My other big idea, Ken, is this one. So the Circa kind of started with this, but they didn't quite do it the way I would do it. Have you been to the Circa in Vegas?
What?
The Circa. Have you been to the Circa, their sports book?
No, I ain't been to Vegas in years.
Okay, so there's a casino called the Circa.
There's too many other casinos away from Vegas. And remember, I'm past the hoopla and the limelight and the bullshit. I don't need all that. So I haven't been there in years.
Well, the Circa's got this amazing sports book. Okay, the outside one is one thing. The inside sports book, it's a 2-story, 2 floors of casino. Both floors overlook the sports book, and the screen at the sports book is taller than the second floor. It's freaking enormous, right? And so you kind of like have this like balcony where you can overlook and see the games and stuff. I've always had this idea of like a casino that's kind of like a stadium where it's circular, and around like the stadium, you'd have these big screen TVs where you could like sit and watch the game, and slot machine or whatever you're playing with, your sports betting is right there with you on your little carousel where you're sitting. Right behind you is all the table games. So you can get up off your seat, go play a table game. You can still see the big thing, but it's a big giant, like literally like a football stadium, shaped like that. And every place from everywhere you are, you can see the big screen, and have it just be that, like, and like have concerts in there and shit. But you can play from wherever you are. I don't know. I don't have that kind of. I have like.
Well, it's just so your brain, the dreams and the.
I never stop.
God, would it be nice? They're endless. Oh, I still do that. If I had $1 for every time I spent the lotto, the jackpot, I would actually have that much money. You know, and I still play it, and we know it's 300 million to 1. I get it. I'm never going to win it.
Lottery ticket?
But what are you doing? You're spending $2 for a legitimate dream. You're a legitimate dream for the day, because somebody eventually will hit it. Now, we know it ain't going to be you, but the truth is, technically, you're just as likely as the next sucker, right? So for at least a day, if you buy that ticket this morning and it's going to be drawn tonight, for that little short time, you have a real dream. And that's all we're buying when we do a lottery, is we're buying a short-term, legitimate dream.
Isn't every bet that, though? Like, every bet you make is that same thing. I mean, the odds are different, obviously, right? The $2 lottery ticket is 1 in a billion to win the whole thing. You know, but a bet on a craps table or a bet on baccarat or a pick a number in roulette, it's the same thing. It's for that 30 seconds, you got this like, oh, what if that actually rolled in a 17 with my $5 chip on that? What would I do with all that money? Right?
Oh yeah.
People. That's the hook, right? But you don't get that hook.
Sure.
When you're gambling for a living, you don't get that hook, right? There's no dream when you're gambling for a living. There's fear, I'm guessing, right?
Well, there's fear. It's when you gamble for a living, it's this. You don't care about the waitresses with the big bazungas. You don't anymore. When I first went to Vegas, I was 17, 18 years old, but I was 300 pounds. I was huge, and nobody questioned that I wasn't 18 years old. Okay. I was going in illegal for several years before I actually moved there to try to do this for a living. And yes, in the very beginning, you know, I remember that. What is that? The Frontier with the big cowboy going, on the strip. And when I went to play, the Aladdin was still there. The dunes, the sands, you know, a lot of them mob run things. They haven't even built the Excalibur yet. You know, so it'd been a while when I did it in my 20s. But yes, in the beginning, you're going, gee whiz, bing, 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 bing. They had the coins actually dropping. You could hear them. Bing, 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 and bang, and oh, you're like, oh my God, look at the lights. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and the lights are just, and it is. It's cool. It's exciting, man. It's just Vegas. And then you start doing this shit for a living, and then slowly but surely, man.
Oh shit! I lost you. We're going to pause here. We lost Ken. There we go. He's back. Hey, what happened there?
What happened?
Yeah.
Something happened.
Somebody hit a button somewhere. We lost you. All right, we're back. Anyway, you were saying about the lights and all that.
So, but once you start really honing in on even you right now, you have no aspirations to do this for a living, and nor should you. Right. But the hoopla of the bing, 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 bing and the bullshit is less today. And I'm going to speak for you. You care less about the bing, bing, bing bullshit and the big titty waitresses than you did freaking 30 years ago. That's fact.
Sure.
Any gamblers like that. So then the more you want to hone into using it to make income, whether you're doing it for a living or not, if you're serious about going in there and winning $200 or $300 a day, whatnot, then all that stuff is just, you get blinded to it because it's meaningless. It's there to thwart you from what you're trying to do. And your brain,
no
like, think about this. Think about this for a second. You go in with a $5,000 bankroll. You're going in there for 300. Here's the mental part. Okay. $5,000. You're willing to risk it all like you like to do, right? Here it is, $5,000. But you know you could win that $300 in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yep. And then to cash out, they did all that work and they lined up all them chips, and you're thinking in your head, well, them poor guys, well, maybe I should stay here just for a little bit longer because they did so. Your brain starts thinking that. It just starts thinking stupid stuff versus fuck you, give me my money and I'm out. And it's just a different animal. It just is.
Well, no question. And I think the reason, so, I think gambling for a living, gambling for whatever, I think the psychology of it's kind of fun. Or to think about it anyway, because like for somebody like me who's going, and what I do, and I think a lot of people maybe do this, that don't talk so much about it, but although I'm not going for a living, I play like I am. I play that super careful game. I'm going for my percentage win. I'm getting out. And the reason why isn't because I'm trying to make $500 so I can pay the electric bill, right? I'm making $500 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Whatever I'm doing it for, I bought a craps table with it. Or I made that much money and I paid off my son's school loans. Or I made that much money and now we're going to fly the family, down to Arizona for a month and stay at Airbnb this summer. Like that's the thing for me. It's like I use gambling and my gameplay and my style not to be super home run hitter, but for the adrenaline rush. I have a job to do. I feel like that's my job with it, is like to make money so I can do other shit. Jacob from Wager Me This talks about that. Like gamble to do things. Buy yourself a new couch. Pay off the car. That's a good goal. Not to play for a living. And if I don't happen to win,
it's a realistic goal.
But if I burn my 5K, it doesn't mean I don't eat. It means I didn't pay off the car. That's all that it means. Like the thing I was trying to do doesn't get done, but it's not like it's a who cares thing. And that's a mentality.
Well, look at what you just said. Look at what you said you just accomplished. You bought your table. You help pay off your kids' college. You've done this and this and this, mostly based on what you've done gambling. Is that not correct?
Exactly, yeah.
That is fucking so hugely successful. That is so successful as a gambler that people don't realize how successful that actually is.
And I want to put the numbers to this. And again, that's a lot of money that I've spent over the course of the last probably 3-4 years on those kind of things. I didn't win $100,000 or 80,000, whatever it was, over the last year and a half. Like that's been a lifetime of putting money in and out of the bank. It's been a lifetime of some side jobs that I've gotten. And then, if I do a little coding work for somebody, it's $1,000. It goes into the 401g. That's like extra money I can spend. And I turn that into something else. That's where it is, right? It's like gambling and coding and whatever I do on the side, it's all that float money, that fluff money. And that's where it all, and I think I look at it as like another way to just jack up like disposable income. Really. I would I have the same
side gig.
I have the same tunnel vision though. I think you said this is how you go in there when you're a pro. I have that same tunnel vision because I'm on a plan to earn X so I can do Y, right? And I feel like I'm here most of the time. And that's why I'm so disciplined, because I do have a goal. My goal isn't to eat, my goal is to travel. It's the same thing, different level of pressure associated with it, right? But I think that goal mentality is where it's at, Now for some guys,
we've talked about it. You've talked about it on your show. I've talked about it. I think Wager Me This has put it into burgers.
Yeah.
I'm going up to this table today. This particular session, I want to win the $50 to eat at that buffet. That's my goal here. and then you got to play accordingly to that particular temporary goal. You may have longer term goals, fine, but for right this second, it's to buy 5 cheeseburgers.
Yeah, I hear you.
Win your cheeseburgers, and go eat.
And there's no shame. There's no shame in that. People go,
no.
But it's like, and it's like I can't afford the cheeseburgers. It's like I'm going to get the cheeseburger on you. Like that's the mentality, right? It's fascinating. Yeah. So
that's how you should gamble, really. That's how you should do it.
What about the other guys? What about the guys who gamble for the home run? Because there's us, right? Gambling for goals. And I've said this to Greg, and I have had kind of side conversations and almost arguments sometimes about like, you should always only play low volatility. You should always play with the goal. You should always get out quick, or when you hit your goal, get out. And I say, there's a world where a lot of guys will just say, screw that. I'm trying to win. I'm going to bring $1,000. I'm going to burn the $1,000 trying to win 10. And I don't want $200. I drove 2 hours, or I flew in for the weekend, and I'm going to win $10,000, or I'm going to lose it all. Right? They're the adrenaline rush, or the go for it. What do you think about that in terms of, like, is that a player type?
First of all, who are we to tell a guy that wants to go with 1,000 pressed to the ceiling or whatever he's going to do to win 10,000? Who are we to tell him that's not the way to do it? Now, let's get really nasty here. Mm-hmm. It's not my job to tell him he's nuts. Is he nuts? Yes. But it ain't my job to go tell him he's nuts. If that's his fantasy he wants to live in, let him live in it. I don't have to pop his bubble. Okay. Right. You got a lot of math people that are that way. It's like, that's what gambling is for. So they'll lose 1,000, but how many times will they lose that 1,000 not being able to obtain the home run? And that's why they go, it's a negative expectation game. You can't beat the house ever, blah, blah, blah. And that's when I go, no, horseshit. You can, under all these other circumstances. But yeah, if I played like you, take $1,000 to go for the home run, I'm just going to get beat a lot. Every once in a while, you're going to hit that home run.
Sure.
But you that home run is not sustainable. But I'm not going to tell them that anymore.
Well, there's people that would say, I think there's a some population goes to the casino with the $1,000 or with $5,000 for a weekend in Vegas and doesn't care. It's entertainment money. We're going to try for the whole thing, and that's going to be it. Another set of the population says, and here's the compare and contrast, right? You and me, other people who play more conservatively, let's take $5,000, win 500 30 times. Other people say, let's take 1,000 and burn 1,000 26 days in a row, and on the 27th day we're going to win 15K or 30K, or we're going to hit the monster roll. And it's like, I'll invest all this time and money for that one shot, and that one shot's going to be enormous. And they're not doing it to make a living. They're doing it because they enjoy playing a high volatility game. I'm just going to lay it out there. We're just going to measure dicks. And at some point, I'm going to hit the biggie, right? And that's an adrenaline way of playing. You can never gamble for a living that way, right? But to use your point, though, do we judge that guy and say, that's stupid? Or who are we to say you shouldn't play that way, kind of thing, right?
Yes and no. I can silently think that's just... How many times have I ever told you, even when you're just fucking around, and you start pressing, and I'm going, you dumbass. What the hell are you doing that for?
Right.
Well, because every once in a while you like to have fun, you go for the ceiling, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Well, those guys that go to the 1,000 and they'll lose it a zillion times, it's that action, it's that one time you hit that slot and it gives it to you. That it was such that dopamine and that feeling to turn 1,000 into 10, man. It's just I'm sure there's a psychological shit that's going on in the head.
Sure. Yeah, no question.
Smoke that first thing of crack, and you're like, oh my god, and you can never get it again, right? Same thing, I think. So all we can do, John, me and you, or anybody that's got a half a brain, and when we're doing these channels, is share with them the most common wisdom and ways to think that's the safest, blah, 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 that you can.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not bringing religion, but I will. It's like, Christ Jesus himself, when people say, look, you got to repent. You've got to accept Christ into your heart to be saved. Well, after so many times, and they keep saying no, 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 no. Well, then when it's all over and they freaking go to hell, they go, well, you were fucking warned about 100 times. Well, same thing with what we're talking about. We can warn them. We can do it in love. We don't have to call them idiots and
sure.
But warn them. But if they don't want to listen, what is it? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it.
Right. And I think I know people who have got the bankroll to not care. The bankroll to say, if I lose it, I really don't care. It doesn't matter at all. Right. And it's funner. I enjoy the game more when I'm playing for that way. And I want to play the game to enjoy it. To me, it's a worthwhile. The $1,000 matters so little to me. I'll just go out and do it. And there's
but you're talking about a whole different person.
Yeah, different person.
I got $5,000. I'll wipe my ass with that $5,000, or just take a lighter to it.
Yep.
Well, when you got that kind of money, then now money means nothing to you.
It's all
Therefore,
the
only thing now, it's all about catching that fucking high. It's all about catching that, I'm going for the moon and reaching the moon with it. And if I don't, my wife still gets her diamond rings and my kids still get their college and da-da-da. And it doesn't mean it. Well, we are not talking about a person like that, because they exist and there's nothing wrong with them doing what they're doing. Nothing. I mean, they're doing their thing. Yeah. God love them. You know what I mean? They look at guys like us who grind, safety, whatever, that we're nuts. And that's fine too. But don't be on that side and tell me I'm nuts, because I'm not going to tell you you're nuts, not to your face, unless you ask me.
Right.
Then I'll blast you. But, to each his own in gambling. So you got that guy that don't care. And then you got the degenerate, man. All he's got is $5. He's got to try to turn it for something.
Right.
But why did you get there to start with? There's so much psychological crap going on in this stuff.
I wonder what percentage of people are there. Like I know there's a small percentage of people that are probably in the I don't care about the money phase that could light it on fire and just don't care, want to have a rush. There's a small percentage of people, probably like 10%, I'm guessing, 10% of people play a much more disciplined game, like you and I are talking about, that play that style. The rest of the other 95% of the people, or 85% that are left, are swimming in waters that are really dangerous and don't necessarily A, have or want the discipline, or B, have the bankroll to do the other thing. And that's who you're talking about, right? They're the ones that, their brains can be their worst enemy. They can know all the things, know the math, know the this, know that, go to the casino, have a decent run, and then run it into the tank. Right? Or take money that wasn't set aside for it and run it into the tank. And that's the world that I think you and I are speaking to most of the time. I think the lion's share of the messaging is going there.
But that craving for action is so high, whether dopamine, call it whatever the hell you want. That craving for that win. Some people don't care even about the win, just the fact that they did. It's not how much.
No, it's not. I totally hear you there. Because for me, honestly, I make so much money programming, right? I can make $200 an hour writing code for somebody. I can spend a weekend and make $5K writing a website for somebody. No sweat, right? I could go to the casino for a weekend and make $1,100, right? It's not about the money to me at the casino. I'm looking to see if I can do it. More than anything else, I'm like, can I do this? This is fun. I enjoy the vibe and the action out there. It's not worth my time to do that. It's more worth my time to sit on my ass over here and do do coding. That's where the money is for me. But I do it because
we all have our reasons.
Yeah.
We all have our whatever motivates us to do anything in life. But since we're talking about gambling, there's some people that we talked about them. They don't care. They got more money than God, and there's some people that really need it, but they don't know what the hell to do, or they're degenerates. They can't help it. And I don't say degenerates in a bad way. You're addicted to the shit. So you got that whole hodgepodge of shit in people, and there's a very, 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 very few people that can actually, go in there, keep their brain, come out with a few bucks, or even if you lose, you didn't lose at all. John Patrick talked about it's not what you win, it's how little you lose. People don't even understand how powerful that concept is.
Well,
lose? What do you mean?
Patrick's
lose?
Patrick's entire way, right, was so you want to be a gambler, right? He was talking to you and me and guys that want to, do this on the regular and not get killed. He wasn't never really, in my opinion, he was never talking to the average Joe who was showing up for a weekend, right? The average Joe showing up for a weekend needs a different message or has a different mentality of it. And I think that the Patrick systems are not going to work on that person. I think the all in or nothing is not going to work on that person either. There's a medium in there of kind of a, I don't know what the word we're looking for is, but that person I think isn't getting spoken to by us or by the all in people. Like the David at CEG, the triple Lux to the ceiling. That's not what that person needs to hear. And I think lock up 10% and go home after an hour drive is not what that person needs to hear either. They're there for a weekend. You go to AC for a weekend or you go to Vegas for a weekend, 10% at the table and going back to your room is not the message.
Do you remember when I put out that if people wanted, I would charge $45 for an hour, $75 for two hour. People could call me. And, I went to a couple of places, and of course I had a couple of people, you know who they are, called me stupid and my people stupid. Well, you know what I think about those people. But nonetheless, every single person that I had the phone conversation with, I always got them. I wanted to figure out what we're doing right here. What is it that you want to accomplish? Why aren't you accomplished? I had to dig into their head. And then I would give them ideas that they'd never thought about before. Well, that's because somebody, obviously, to pay me to get this out, I had to be like a psychologist. I had to probe them, figure stuff out so I could go, okay, try this. Try this for a little bit. Try that, because obviously they wanted help. Okay. Right. And every one of them said, Jesus, I always learned something that I'd never even thought about. Well, that was the whole point. Worth $45, wasn't it?
Well, sometimes it's easy. Well, Sometimes those things are obvious and easy, like, duh, oh, I should have thought of it myself. But I think for $45, like you're saying, sometimes you just need, in programming, we call that a rubber duck, right? We call it rubber ducking with somebody, which means I say something that bounces off of you, and sometimes I give myself my own answer, right? You just need to have that back and forth kind of thing to get you through it. And that was a role that you played for some of those guys, which I think it's an interesting role, because a lot of guys are selling systems, which is a different thing, right? You never sold a system. You were just selling time. And
I've never sold anything in my life on gambling. I have sold my time, my expertise in my brain to try to unlock what's in your brain to see if you can get to where you're wanting to go. Let me find the holes in you as a person. That's all I did. I have this, I wish I had it, I could show you, but it's a whole big old list of questions that I had to get to there first. You've got to answer these questions, because otherwise it's not a one size fits all. I got to figure John out. Where does John think he's screwing up? Why does he think he's screwing up? What does he want? All that stuff. And then I come up with a plan. And I know you've heard of the plan because John did it to me, Patrick. And that is, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go in, win $10 today, and get out. Go win one hand, do it. Not for a week, baby. Do it for a month.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, you don't have the discipline of what I'm trying to teach you. Well, that seemed stupid, harsh, whatever. I did do it.
I put that challenge out once. Remember that when I gave it, I put up the $10 challenge. I said, go to the casino every day for a month with $100 and walk out of there with 110, and walk out with 110, and to see if you can do it. Do you have the discipline to leave, to drive an hour for $10? And it's not worth the drive for most people.
Nope.
A friend of mine did it.
Nope.
He had to pay $7 in tolls to get to the casino. So it totally wasn't worth it, right?
I had a guy tell me that. I go, but it ain't about what it's worth.
It's not. It's
as far practice. As you paid the toll, if you paid this or you paid that. The question is, can you? Mm-hmm. I don't care if you in expenses, if you lost money. That ain't the part of the exercise. That's what they don't get.
Right.
They go, well, hell, it'll cost me more to win $10 than it's worth. No, that ain't. No, it's almost like Miyagi. I say you do.
Right.
That's it. And so it is to get you to understand, do you have the discipline? When you can't do it, for whatever excuse you have, that means you don't have the discipline to do what I'm trying to throw down to you. And now, at least you know it. When you did it and failed, now you know you got a discipline problem. There's the exercise.
Totally. I mean, you practice with $100 for $10, and again, it's a practice session. Later, $100 becomes 1,000, and 1,000 becomes 10, and now you're driving, and your 10% win goal nets you $1,000, not $10. But you got to get to the point where you can physically drive and be there for 11 minutes, like you said before, and leave. That's hard to do, man. That's mentally really, really tough for people, I think. So I want to go into something with you, because that's mentally tough too. The envelope thing that you do with your bankroll, super hard discipline wise. Like people, I when I watch your series, that's my favorite part. Honest to God, pulling the envelopes out, moving your money around. I'm like, that is fucking gold. Because as a person who cares about every dollar, and I was telling Greg this the other day, I'm like, every dollar that I've got, I hug it, I give it a kiss goodnight. Like I work my ass off for my money, whether it's at my job or in the casino, whatever. I love all my dollars, and I don't want to lose any of them. And so when I watch you play with the envelopes, like that is like the careful management of the dollars, the actual money that I've got, right? That's my favorite part of your video. So can you do me a favor and just talk about it? Tell us about the envelope system. Well, and what's the purpose behind it? And like how do you work it?
Well, actually, there's really only two envelopes, because one envelope represented the bank. Mm-hmm. You have to physically go to the brick and mortar bank every day and deposit at least $130, because that's what it's going to take. If your bills are going to be $2,700 a month, you have to figure out what they were and watch my other video, and you'll see how to calculate that. But anyway, we came up with $2,700, so that means $130 a day, not $500, not $300, $130. All right, but in that $2,700, yep, you had your lights, your rent, but it still had a little fun money in there. Mm-hmm. Not only did I have it somewhere else, I had it built into that $2,700 as well. All right, so there's that part. Now the other two are, okay, I want to either build on my bankroll. And so it's every journey begins with a step. So you got to start somewhere. So you constantly throw money in there and just don't even think about it. It's just in there. It's in there. The next thing you know, you open that fucker and it's like, Jesus. Okay. But then to me, my most important envelope that I ever had was that experimental fun money, because I'm still a human being. And I still like a good release every once in a while, where I don't have to be so this. I want to be fun-loving kin sometimes. I want to go try the southern border, but I damn sure don't look like I like it enough to pull my $5,000 out of there. Yeah. Right? However, I have $1,100 over in that envelope that I have been feeding, religiously feeding it. I'm going to take $800 of it and I'm going to give it a shot. Now mentally, I can't lose a nickel of what I'm supposed to. And I think you saw the one show where I actually took the $130 out for the day's pay.
That was my favorite part of that show. I was like, dude, that's money. That's so cash right there. Yeah.
And then therefore, my mind is 100% free. Mm-hmm. If I lost that extra dough, okay, I have to start building it up, but I still made my day's pay.
Yeah.
Oh, mentally, man.
The release of that,
huge thing.
What's funny is like that whole episode to me felt like you're making a 401g out of your 401g. Like you have your 401g account that you're gambling, that's your money to gamble with. And you have a side hustle over here too. That's like safe money, right? Plus it just, that series of money management moves that you make, I think is the key. And I think, having the 5 months or whatever number of months you recommend somebody has in the bank set up so they can live on it in case it goes south, right? Having the bankroll to gamble with to keep building up that fund is huge. And then taking some of your profits and saying, okay, here goes to the daily. This goes to the excess. Here goes daily. Here goes excess. And you have like 1 or 2 days a month where you can do the fun money thing and try some shit out. It's so safe and careful. And everybody's got to watch. I'll put the link in here in this one. Everybody's got to watch those videos where you're talking about that, because I honestly believe that's one of the best takeaways of all the things you've ever done. Honestly, I feel like that's one of my favorite things ever. I really do. I think that's
Well, I appreciate that, John. I really do. But you just alluded to it a second ago. There was people out there that want to take $1,000 and hit the damn home run. Mm-hmm. Well, there's the $1,000 you take it from.
Yeah.
Not your bankroll.
Right. Not your living. Not your bankroll that you're using as the engine, right? That's the thing. It's the one bankroll, the 50K is the engine that keeps your life moving, right? The 4 months is how you're getting your shit done. And the excess over here is, okay, let's try something out. Let's do something nuts or whatever. I would take it to the bubble craps machine and for $1, try some craziness out to see what's going to work at bigger levels, right? I love bubble craps because I can take a few zeros off of things and bet for $1 and see if it's going to work and not get hurt. So
that's the whole point. And to me, I guess because I've lived it, to me, that's just logical thinking. It's just, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. It's just like forget any of your gambling. Forget it. I guarantee you got a bank account, you got a savings account, you got this, you got that. You got money in all these different places for the same reason that I'm doing the envelopes. I'm just doing it for the gambling side of it.
Yep.
But all of us people out here, schmucks working for a living, I still got 4 bank accounts to this day.
Yeah.
Huh?
We do. So we do too. I honestly, I'll give you the secret to happy marriage, man. I've literally we have an account that's called Bills. It's just Bills. And my wife and I each put the exact same money from our paycheck into that account. And that account is within $150 or so. I know what the bills are. It's the mortgage, it's the electric bill, all the things, right? We know that thing needs, whatever, $7,200, whatever it is for the month, it goes in there. And we both feed that. The first paycheck we each get a month, that account gets stuffed. So we know the whole month is covered, right? We each put the same amount of money into an account that's only ever used at the grocery store. We have an account that only gets used at Amazon for random shit that we need at the house. And we have an account that's only ever used for, we call it our spending account, it's our joint account. And that account literally is, I'm hungry, you want to get a pizza? I don't know what's in the joint account. Let's take a look at that account. Oh, it's got $90 in it. Cool, order a pizza. That's literally how we run our life. And whatever's excess from those accounts, we keep. Yeah, whatever we don't feed those accounts with, we each keep. Right? And that is like John's fun money and John's 401g and she's got her stuff. And at some point I say, hey, you want to go to Vegas for a weekend? Sure. How much money you got in your account? Like, I got a couple thousand. She's like, I got a couple thousand. Let's go. That's how it works.
Well,
and we have never fought about money. We fought about money for half my life. Right? We made this decision maybe 15 years ago to try, let's try and take that the worry of where's the money coming from out of the mix. And we have, like I said, the 6 accounts, and we split it all up, and it's like, it just made life so much easier. And
that makes it, it does, doesn't it?
Oh my God. It's like,
now this is my 4th marriage, just so you know. Okay. I don't even want to get down why it's 4th, but it would be comical to your people, but we won't go there. But anyway, I told my wife now, I've been married, been with her 10 years, but nonetheless, I told her from the get-go, this is how this shit's going to work. You have your money. I don't want to be the guy that's like, honey, can I spend this on a shirt? Can I go buy this? Can I go on a girls trip? I go, here's the deal. We got our bills, and each of us have to do what you just said. Hey, we got to pay our bills. All the rest of that, after our envelopes are stuffed, you go do what you want to with it. I don't give a shit. Go to the Chippendales. I don't care, right? But I do make more money than she does. So my savings account and my little envelopes get fatter most of the times than hers. Well, her car, now, I hope my wife ain't going to watch this shit, but she probably will. But she's got a decent car. It doesn't even have 100,000 miles. She bought it new. But she's like a lot of women, and I love her. If you're watching, Kimmy, I love you. But she drives, does the oil, but that's it. Well, we know hoses, belts, brakes, struts, shit wears out, right? Well, she had all of it go out at one time. Well, she don't have no money. It's her car. So by rights, it should have been money that she saved back for her car. She didn't do it. So I paid $6,000 out of my envelope just about 3 weeks ago. I spent $6,000 in tires and all that other shit because it's my wife and I love her. Not that I had to. Sure. I almost did. You know, but if I hadn't been putting away an account like that, it wouldn't be there. So
see, now my wife
I
makes
do the
more
same
than I
thing,
do,
and
so.
not just like you do.
Yeah, my wife makes more than me, so I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, honey.
I wish he did. I wish my wife made $1 million a year. I'd still be the alpha dog.
$1 million. No, she does. My wife does great. She made this like really incredible move a few years back. She worked as a microbiologist in a lab at a hospital, which is a great job. She's well educated, did her thing. They moved her into IT in the hospital to work like the microbiology computer side, almost doubled her salary. And she discovered this whole other side of her that's like this analytical thinker and this great leader and all these things. And it just like opened up like the last 10 years or so, her entire career. Really, really cool. Like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done thinking for a living. I'm going to go play craps and teach. And I'm going to take a little bit less money, have a little more fun. And my days are going to be like, I feel like I'm retired now. I actually feel like I'm retired because I do all this for fun. You know, my work can be stressful sometimes because of situations that we have, but honest to God, it's easy work. It isn't like I'm having to solve, the world problems like I used to at work. I'm working with people. And so it's cool. I'll take less money to be happier,
When you're a gambler and you're married, you have to have a wife that's in with you. And my wife over the last few years, she'd seen me in action. Now she couldn't play like I do. There's no way. She goes over the slots. But I win money most of the time when we're out. How much do we need for this trip? We need $1,200. Okay, now I know what I do. Now sometimes she'll say, "Hey, we got free rooms here. Let's go." My bankroll ain't there, and I refuse to go. I said, "No, I don't have enough bankroll to do what I need to do." But my whole point is, I do my thing, she does her thing, and it works. Yeah. And
my wife is saying, my wife's saying my wife loves the casino, and she's way luckier than I am. She makes fun of me because we'll go. I say this all the time. We'll go a half hour in. She plays poker slots, and she'll win $1,000, $2,000, $4,000. She wins $4,000 the other time we went, and then she makes fun of me. She's like, "You're grinding over here like a maniac. You're trying to win $80." I just paid the mortgage in like 15 minutes. And I'm like, whatever.
But that's okay.
I know.
They don't get it.
But she likes to just, give me some of this. Just kind of.
I don't even try to explain it to her.
I think it's so cool that she's lucky like that, though. I think it's great.
Because she don't care. She don't have a clue what I do. She wouldn't know how to get on a table game to save her ass, but the fact is she does know that I know what I'm talking about, and I do win money. So if I say, hey, listen, you go do that, I'm going to be over there for a couple hours, for whatever. She's like, boom. She knows not to go with me because she can't hang because she don't like it. She don't want to hang. Fine.
Yeah.
But we're on the same page. You go do your shit. I'll go do my shit. Yeah. We'll meet up. No.
Yeah, Kathy's more on the I just she doesn't like it, but for table games specifically, she'll say things like, I think she has weird, like not a confidence problem, but it's more like I don't want to make a mistake in front of people. Like I know blackjack, I know the games you're playing, I know the rules, but I don't want to go there and look like a dumbass or make a dumb mistake or have people watching me play. And so she just would rather play the thing she's in. Like I said, she can rock a slot machine. That woman is so lucky. Like if you played tables, you'd be so lucky, Kat. Like you got to get over there someday.
Well, ain't nobody watching her. Over there by herself.
But think about the first times you were playing. When you were young, the first time you're up there, some people just have that, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, energy about them. And you feel like the spotlight's on and you're sweating and you don't have the confidence to attack a table or a game, and you're kind of eking in there, and it takes years to get that, that
but
big
truly,
bankroll,
most people don't give a shit what you're doing. They're worried about themselves.
God, most people are too busy going. They're trying to do math, like how much did I just lose? They don't care what you're doing, and I think that's the thing that you have to remember, or anybody that's new at a table's got to remember that nobody gives a crap. Unless you're on the don't.
It just takes you.
But if you're on the don't and they're losing their ass, now they care about you. Other than that, nobody cares about you. And the people that are mad at you for playing the don't are have already lost. And now you're just they feel like you're piling on. And that's the one thing that I can see somebody who's new getting whatever squirrely about. But other than that.
Yeah. Well, it takes years, man, to get to there, even where we're at. Forget what I did in my past, just to get where you can go to a casino. You got reasons for doing what you're doing. You got your bankroll. You think the way you think. It took us fucking years to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Through what? Trial and error. Trial and error.
Losses and wins. And I think I got this, pretty good balance of money management, discipline, and fun. Like I really enjoy what I do now. Like when I go there, even if I'm there for 15 minutes, I have a great 15 minutes. I enjoy being here. I make that fun. And I play in such a way that I can play after that goal with excess, but I enjoy it. And it's not stressful anymore. I used to stress every time I go to the casino, like not having the bankroll or worried I was going to lose. Now it's like, not that I have a lot of money, but my reason for going is different. And I enjoy it. I actually have fun. Even if I lose, I have a good time. I just enjoy the moment, and I enjoy the kind of the battle that you're in there. I don't know. But it's years. It's years of that. It's all those years of getting my ass kicked and figuring it out. Like I've had like this weird relationship with gambling because I've gotten beat, home run. I've had so many like big home runs that it kept me hooked early on. And it's probably kept me ahead. I'm probably ahead because of the home runs, because my home runs have been like five-figure home run versus a bunch of $100 losses, right? That's kind of how my life has been. But now in the last 10 years or so, I've figured out how to be, this nice little creep up. And it's been so much more enjoyable.
Well, your attitude from young to middle age to older, it's just a one big morph. You're morphing, right? Little cocoons and butterflies and whatever, and epiphanies along the way. Where now you, John, can sit there and go, well, I got this. I'm going to go here and I'm going to have a little fun. My wife's over there. We're going to drink a little bit. Your whole reasoning behind this particular time you're going to the casino is different. I enjoy going with a friend of mine and having fun. I just don't have many friends. I do that on purpose, and that's a whole nother, I need a psychiatrist to go in my brain. But there are some people that I enjoy going with. And then most of the stuff that I preach goes out the window, because that money that I'm taking with me at that moment, it's beer. Let's throw that. I'm going to do a 12 just to see if I can kick your ass. It's a whole different, that's when I don't care if I lose that $500 or whatever. And it's okay to play that way sometimes. It is. I don't do it very often, but it's okay. And so whatever journey a person's on, their gambling journey, just do it, and be happy with it. But if you're starting to feel gut sick, because of what you're doing, it's hurting you, it's hurting your family, then either A, stop, or learn to be different. And I think we don't talk enough about it on anybody's YouTube channel. We don't talk about problem gamblers and, here, there's help, and do this, do that, because they're out there. We talk about strategies and whatnot. And every once in a while, I'll do an 800 number for the Gamblers Anonymous. I'll throw it up there, just because I know. And I don't know. I'm rambling, John. Sorry.
That's that's poignant. Great point. And I think that's actually a solid way to end right there. I mean, you're so right. And now you make me feel guilty because I don't talk about it enough. But
do you have that number? You have the technology to put that up right there.
I do. Well, not at this moment, but yeah. But I will put that up.
Oh, okay.
After the show is over, when I recut the video. But yeah, I mean, that number is in every one of my descriptions of all my videos, and it's on the podcast. But I don't put it up on screen enough. I should make that, as you're saying it, a more prominent part of the screen broadcast, because I feel like we're talking to the 90% of people that, quote unquote, get it most of the time, but I think there's a bigger percentage of people that don't, or that are in a bad way. I see a guy at my local all the time. I say this, I've told this story a lot, that comes in his overalls, his fingernails are dirty. I know what his came off the job site, and he's buying in for $164 or whatever he's got that he made his day's wages. I see that all the time. Every time I go, I see the same guy, and I'm like, it's just saddening to see that, because you know what's behind that. Now he's probably not watching YouTube. That guy's not watching YouTube, right? But
no, he's not. But I'm going to leave you with something here. Very important. Mm-hmm. You're never too old to learn, and you're never too old to change. And I'm going to give you a true case in point right this second. See this thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
It's a vape. It's a vape. I've been smoking for 45 years. What a fucking habit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can put that into, hey, I've been betting the right side for 45 years, or I've been doing this or doing that. Well, how's it working for you, right? So anyway, my doctor I had to go do a cancer screening CAT scan. I did that about a month ago. I now have emphysema, now diagnosed emphysema, which means eventually, stop smoking or not, eventually it'll creep up on me, and it'll get me, right? It's not as fast as cancer, and it's not cancer, but if you Google it, it'll still slowly spread. You got to try to keep it at bay. So that, and then I have 3 nodules on my lungs, okay? They are 99% sure it's not cancer, but I've got to go in about 3 more months and do it again. So if it is, we don't need stage 4, stage 3, we need on it, right? My point being is, 45 years, I had to quit. The end.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only way I know to do it. I can't do any other way. I tried them. So, and I'm very low nicotine, and then my next juices will be 0. And I'll just be puffing vapor water.
Yeah.
It's the only way that I can do it, but I had to. Well, there's my point. You're never too old. I don't care what your habits are. I don't know what you think you can't do. There'll come a time that, oh yeah, you can. So anybody out there that needs help with gambling or whatever, John, I'll bet you he's going to put that number up when he edits this. That's my beg for anybody watching this. It's really, it's like gambling, smoking, whatever. If you've had a problem, you feel sick to your stomach all the time, you're getting your ass kicked all the time, then maybe you need some help like I did. And it's time you got to quit or whatever. So there you go. I'll get off my soapbox, John.
I appreciate that's great advice, man. I mean, I smoked for years too, and I was forced to quit. I had a cardiac incident that got me off it. Right? It's hard. It's the hardest thing to do, and gambling is just as bad. Hard things. It can be hard things to kick, man. So, all right, Ken. Let's call it here. That was
okay.
Great way to end it, man. I appreciate your brutal honesty there at the end, dude. I didn't know you had that issue, so that's kind of a shock for me. So
it's new, but it ain't like when the doctor told me. It ain't like how you go, oh no, oh my God. It's like, hey, I've known for a long time this is eventually going to get me. So it ain't like I can't believe this is happening. Yeah, I believe every freaking thing of it. So.
I get what you're saying. It still sucks. Now you got to face it's going to be, everything gets harder now. Everything just becomes a little bit of an issue. So it sucks.
We'll get through it, and if it's anything bad, obviously it's in the very, very, very early stages. We'll get it. If it is, we'll see. I'll keep y'all, updated on that stuff. Okay. But hey, you can always change. That's my point. You can always turn a 180 and go the other direction, man. So very true. That's a fact.
Very true. Wow. All right. That's it. Ken, perfect way
to end it. Man.
I love you, brother. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yes, sir.
And I will promise not to be a stranger. John. I promise not to be a stranger, man. Love you.
Yeah, but I understand if you don't. I love you too, John. I appreciate what you do, brother.